Hi, this is A. Wesley. That ain't who tells it like a TI is. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. I haven't been on YouTube in a while because last month I was sick for the whole month of May. And then I was getting ready to start recording back again. And then I had to go get some dental work done. So I'll probably be doing a couple of voiceovers until my dentures come back. So that's why I hadn't been on YouTube for a while for the last month and a half. But anyway, back to the topic. The topic I'm going to talk to you today about is Bell Collective. Bell Collective Season 1, Episode 1, happened about 3 weeks ago, called Zaddy in the Middle. It started off with Latrice and Josh talking about she was so happy that she closed on a property, on a building and stuff, and he was saying yeah, we had moved out of the old place and we thought we were going to move in a new place, and it didn't happen. And she said yeah, we had to move back to and yeah we had to move back into the old place temporarily, and we can and the owner had leased out one part of the property, and she was saying I can't help it because Gucci didn't have no property ready for me, and when I had to go ahead on the clothes, and she was so happy that she had clothes on a new building and stuff. And then in a confessional, Latrice said that by the water shortage being down there, and I think they're in Mississippi, Alabama, wherever they are. She said Josh had to come and move in with them, and so they was all sitting down in the kitchen at the table, and Josh said yeah, and Josh said yeah, and he said yeah we supposed to. I'm glad we got our daughter. Glad the girls are going to school. That's what Cliff was saying, which they call him Zaddy. And he said, yeah, she said, yeah, now you can start cooking more for me. And then Josh interjected and said, why you trying to control Latrice and boss her around and stuff? And then Cliff said, you just a worker. You better be glad I let you stay here. And he said, you ain't supposed to be saying nothing. He said, Latrice, you better get him. I can't talk to him. I'm finna walk out the room. He said, well, I might be a worker, but I'm also Latrice's friend. So I'm gonna look out for her. He said, I'm telling you, you better get him. And then so Josh Washington walked into Latrice's room, and he said, Latrice, I'm your friend and everything. You were telling me out your personal business, at the shop and stuff. He said, but to me, Cliff was kind of controlling. How could you deal with that? She said, well, he ain't like that all the time. He said, but if y'all was having a good marriage and everything was going on, why is you sleeping down here and he's sleeping upstairs? She said, well, like I said, we working on our marriage. You working on our marriage. He said, well, I'm your friend. I'm trying to tell you what to do and stuff like that. I think Latrice was wrong. I think she should have called SoGucci and tell her that she had somebody else. But anyway, on to the next scene. And the next scene was SoGucci. She was at a house, and she was talking about how she is so busy working and stuff, and her and her husband don't have time to spend together. Her and JJ don't have time to spend much time together. And so JJ said, yeah, you always working. He said, well, we finna start date night. And so what it was, when she came home, she seen him in an apron where he had ordered some food offline, had drinks and wine and stuff. She said, ooh, what you sitting up? He said, I told you we were going to have a date night, but I didn't want to go out nowhere. I want us to have our date night in the house. And so they had the date night, and he said, ooh, why don't you go and try on something else, something a little bit more relaxing than what you got on? And she said, yeah, you ain't got no clothes on either. You ain't got no clothes on either. I got more clothes than you got on. And he said, well, just go change. So she went in there change. He said, that look all right. But that changing and stuff is not the S word I was looking for. And so he said, well, let's get down, sit down, and have a drink. So they sit down and had a drink. And then he said, yeah, he said, this is the life. He said, this is the life. So Gucci, this is the life. No kids, no problems, no family, no nothing like that. We empty nesters now. We can do what we want to do. That's the life. And then they got ready to eat dinner and stuff. And he said, oh, Gucci, by the way, my mama is supposed to be coming and moving in. And she said, what? Your mama coming, moving in. You know I don't get along with your mama, Cliff. I mean, not Cliff. You know I don't get along with your mama, JJ. And then, and then JJ say that's why this is the best time for her to move in so y'all can work on y'all relationship. She said, you know your mama don't like me and stuff. She said, you supposed to told me. She said, since you didn't tell me, you ain't gonna get no goodies tonight. And she ran and walked off in her room and stuff like that. And Cliff was looking all funny and stuff like that. Cliff is, I mean not Cliff. JJ is a character, but he's kind of funny for the show, and I kind of like her. Then it moved to the next scene, and the next scene was Lakeisha, and she was going to the playground to pick up her son because Glenn had took him there, and so when she went to pick up him at the playground, she said, Glenn, I came to pick up the boy. Is he ready? He said, yeah, he about ready. He said, but I want to talk to you first. She said, Glenn, what you want to talk to me about? And then Glenn said, well, I want to talk to you about our relationship. I've been sending you flowers, sending you bouquets, doing all this kind of stuff, and you ain't been returning my calls. You ain't been doing nothing. And she said, Glenn, you know why what happened to our relationship. You know what happened to our relationship. Tell me what happened to our relationship. She said, you know what happened to our relationship after the reunion. She said, after the reunion, I thought everything was good and we are gonna be together. Then I found out you was still DMing them women online on Instagram and DMing their pictures and stuff. You know I told you that I didn't like you doing that. He said, well, you give me mixed signals. Why did you do the do with me? And then goes, she said, well, I'm sorry that I did the do with you. She said, but I wish I hadn't done that after the reunion because you went back to your old ways. She said, our son just gonna have to learn how to live in two different households. We just gonna have to be picked up two different households. He told me if that was the case, I should have put $40 on the table and gave it to you like that. And she said, not over here. She said, that's what you do to the women that you do it in the streets. And then switch to the next scene and stuff like that. I have said last year that I didn't like the fact that Lakeisha gave Glenn all them chances, and she kept talking about 17 years. But anyway, back to the next scene, and the next scene was Tambria, and Tambria was talking about she's the most popular DJ. She's the most popular BJ in Atlanta. Not Atlanta, in Alabama or Mississippi, wherever they at. And so she was saying she the most popular DJ and she real busy and she doing this and she doing that. And so what happened? She went home and she went home and Damon was saying, ooh, you show coming in late. She said, I told you I had a lot of work to do, Damon. I told you I had a lot of work to do. He said, yeah, you've been working a whole lot lately. He said, I thought when we moved in together, the Jew was gonna be home. He said, what you cooking tonight? She said, I ain't cooking nothing tonight. She said, I don't cook, Damon. Damon said, you sure don't cook, you rarely cook. He said, I was expecting when you moved in that you was gonna be cooking and you was gonna be at home. She said, I told you I'd be working. He told me, what you be doing, sitting down in a chair? She said, nah, I don't just be sitting down in a chair, I be doing other stuff. She said, what you call sitting about in a chair, that's work. He told me, that ain't no work sitting about in no chair. And he told me, we ain't been doing the do in the last 2 months. What's going on? She said, well, I ain't used to living with nobody. I'm so used to living by myself, Damon. Say, Damon, I feel like getting me a little small townhouse apartment across the way. That way I can go there and have my me time and I can come back over and be with you. He said, well, how we going to work on the relationship and you just moved in 2 months ago and then you want to move right back out? She said, well, like I said, I ain't used to work. He said, well, look, we're going to have to work on this relationship. She said, but you ain't gave me a ring yet. You ain't put a ring on it. Damon looked kind of funny. I already knew that Damon and Tambria relationship was shaky, and I already knew that they wasn't really. At least I thought Damon wasn't really in it, but it seemed like Tambria ain't really in it. But anyway, back to the next scene, and the next scene was SoGucci, SoGucci showing Lakeisha a house, and Lakeisha said that she was looking for property, and she said Marie told her that SoGucci would be the right person to help her look for a house. And so they went to the house and they looked at it, and then she said, Marie, how you like the house? Marie said, ooh, this house look good. It suits you. What you want in the backyard and everything, Lakeisha. And then so Gucci said, well, since you like the house, why don't we go on and go ahead on and close? Why don't we go ahead and close on the house and stuff like that? And then Lakeisha said, no, it's some more properties I want to look at around here and other places. And then SoGucci said, I hope you ain't trying to do me like somebody else. And then Lakeisha said, who you talking about? She talking about somebody else who had them looking for properties and builders, and then went with another realtor and didn't tell me nothing about it. And then so Marie said, Gucci, I thought you was helping Latrice look for something too, look for property too. She said I was. She said that's the person I'm talking about. She said that I was supposed to help her look for a house, but then she got another realtor. And Marie said, how did you find out about it? She said, just like the rest of y'all on social media. She said, ooh, on social media. And then Marie said, see there, Gucci, I told you how Latrice was. I told you Latrice wasn't a good friend. She said, yeah, she stabbed me right in the back. Then switch to the next scene where they showed Josh and Latrice and her friend Amanda. They was out at a club drinking and dancing and having a good time. Next thing you know, Cliff walked in and said, Gucci, I want to talk to you. She said, I'm over here having fun. My friend said, Gucci, I want to talk to you. Come on over here. And so she said, you can't be acting like that in this place, Cliff. You see all these people over here looking at us. I said, well, I told you to come on here and come on. She said, well, I'm coming. And then her confession said, it's a certain way I have to carry myself. So that's why I went on outside and talked to him. She said, well, let's go on outside and talk. So they went to the parking lot and they got to talking. He said, so Gucci, why come you didn't tell me? I mean, not so Gucci. He said, Latrice, why come you didn't tell me that you was going out? You can't be going out with your friends. You a married woman now. You can't be doing that. You can't be going out without me. She said, well, I just wanted to go out with my friend. I just wanted to go out and have fun with my friends. He said, like I told you, you can't go out and have fun with your friends. You married now. And so she talking about, well, I'm sorry I didn't tell you, but you know everything ain't been going right between me and you. Me and you ain't been on good terms lately. He said, I don't care about that. He said, you're not gonna be disrespecting me out here in these streets and have me looking like a fool and still looking like a fool and like a simp. I ain't no simp with man. And then she told me, I know it. And then she told me, well, he said, I don't care about no Josh. And he was saying bad stuff about Josh, and he had him to cut the audio off, and they cut some of the audio off. But anyway, like that. But anyway, after that, she said, okay, I shouldn't have did you like that, Zaddy. I'm sorry, Cliff. Cliff said, well, you, like I said, you're not gonna be having me out here in these streets. And then it went off. Cliff was right about that. I know people talking about where he was hooping and hollering in the parking lot and stuff. I mean, he did go a little bit out of it, but he was right. When you know you got to go places with your husband when you married. I mean, you can't be married and trying to have a single life. But anyway, all in all, part one of Bell Collector was good. I'll do part two in another video. This is A. Wesley. That ain't who tells it like a T.I. is. I am out.